Welcome to the DL debate. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now, live on Highland Radio, we're back via the podcast. I'm here with Joe Dex as ever. Joe's keeping me right, giving me a bit of training, so bear with me if I make a bit of a mess up, twiddling knobs and that. I'll be getting there as the weeks go by. But Joe, I won't want to see you go, to be honest. I hope you stay around for a while yet, let me tell you. What was I going to say? As I say, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to discuss all matters GA in the county and across the northwest, and of course the big game at Donegal Park yesterday. Pre-match, we had the honour of Dr. McDaid by the St. Eunan's Club. I spoke with Dr. McDaid. There'll be an interview coming up later. I also spoke with county captain Patrick McBrearty. As I say, 2 interviews will be coming up later in the show. Now, just from the weekend there, Donegal ladies losing again in the league. Tough defeat against Cork for Maxie Curran's charges. Now, obviously a team in transition and a lot of experienced players to come back. In the hurling, there was 2 games in the hurling cup, or under 20s and 17s, were both defeated by Derry in the pre-championship competition. Our minor footballers who had a victory over Tyrone, 12 points to 10. Good stuff from Cian Barrett's charges there. Now, as I say, I'm thrilled to say, or trilled, should I say, my Galway friends would have said yesterday at the park. Thrilled to be joined by a man here in studio that knows plenty about Galway. Having won a Hogan Cup there with St. Charles of Tuam years ago. Since then, he's had a brilliant playing career with club and county, and he's now St. Eunan's chairman. It's John Harn. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Brendan. Great to be here.
And joining us via Zoom, a man that earns his crust with Irish news. Always insightful, he knows his GA. It's the one and only Cahir O'Kane. Cahir, how are you, lad?
Good, Brendan. John, how's things?
Thanks for joining us, Cahir. Great stuff. John, just a word yesterday from a club perspective on the park. We were blessed by the weather. There was a great buzz out in the park. Donegal were backs to the wall, and it was another brilliant occasion in Letterkenny round the Eunan's Club, between the pre-match, the bit of entertainment, and up in the clubhouse after. It was a great day.
It was, Brendan. Yeah, I suppose from the club's point of view, we were trying, to mark it as honouring Dr. McDaid and naming the stand. I know you have an interview coming up for Dr. James, so we won't dwell on that there too much. But no, it was great, Brendan, for the club. It's great for the club to be able to host the big inter-county game once a year, and we get all the help from the volunteers. And as you say, the sun made it. It was a great day, and great atmosphere in the stand there in the last 5 minutes. The place was hopping when Galway went up and Donegal came down, and Galway went up, and we just trying to get that last point. So it was great for the club, Brendan. The place looked well. Vince and Andy always have it sparkling, and Maya Green and Cahill and everyone. I don't want to start naming names because I'll leave someone out, but all the volunteers, but every club's the same. Brendan McCool's there, Ballyshannon when it's their turn. Everyone wants to put their best foot forward and showcase their facilities. So we were delighted with yesterday.
Isn't it funny, John, just the flip? There's a lot of doom and gloom in Donegal last week, particularly after the second half against Monaghan. We're like, where are we going? And just as the week went on, or even actually from Monday, I was kind of thinking, you know what, we're at home. The home venues are counting a lot. And there was a different buzz from our team altogether yesterday. Listen, full back line, we're top drawer. It was probably one of our strongest lines of the bench, and usually it was our forwards that maybe didn't capitalise on the possession or chances we had.
Exactly, Brendan. We had loads of possession, and no, I agree with you. Coming into the match, I thought at the start of the week where we looked very bad last week against Monaghan, that second half collapse, and where we were going to get the scores and who was going to stand up. But I think, Brendan, we are lacking a bit of quality. There's a few men missing. Michael Murphy's, retired. We're going to be mentioning that forever, maybe, but maybe we have to stop mentioning it and just get on with it. And Paddy McBrearty been injured, so a few setbacks. But you couldn't question the boys' commitment yesterday, Brendan, which is great. That's all you can ask. Like, if a team goes out and gives us it all and gets stuck in and shows a bit of hunger, fair enough. Like, I seen them against Noma against Tyrone, Brendan. We were shocking. Let's call it spade a spade. We were shocking. Never even put a slap on Tyrone or got stuck in. And that's disheartening for supporters. At least yesterday they went out and tried. If they had got beat, if Conroy's point had went over the bar, fair enough, it would have been hard to take, but you could have went home and said, well, at least they got stuck and they gave it a go. They had pride in the jersey, and that's what they did yesterday, and probably deserved to win it. Just didn't take our chances. Brendan, I think it's something like 13 wides and a couple into the goalkeeper's chest and that. But you couldn't fault the Donegal players for their commitment, which is admirable.
Yeah. And Cahir, just from the outside, you can give us the truth now. I know you always will. You can hit us hard if you want. 120 last week. We talk about defence. Our issues seem to be at the back. We definitely tightened up. 1-9 we conceded yesterday, as I say, created a host of chances along with it. But still, if you're looking at that league table, Ciara, it's not looking great. You have a tough game away to Armagh, and then it's going to be difficult there because they're looking at us thinking if they can beat us, that might put them in a position to stay up, Ciara. So listen, still going to be a difficult finish for the league for Donegal.
It's a tough finish to the league. There's the good thing for Donegal is there's a lot of teams with tough finishes to the league, and it's so tight. Like Kerry are third on 4 points, Tyrone are bottom on 2. So there's so much wiggle room for anything to happen in the next 3 weeks that plays into maybe the hands of a Donegal who, have probably struggled a wee bit. I thought it was a great point yesterday. I thought you can look at it two ways. Been 5 points up in the first half, only taking a point, but from 2 points down, when they found themselves 2 points down, it was a great recovery to come back and get a draw out of it. I'm sure they would have loved the win. Is the only thing. It's not an easy place to go up to Armagh at the minute. They're going to find it tough up there in the athletic grounds. I think Armagh, of the sides that are threatened at the minute in the table, I think Armagh are the one that I would definitely say would get out of it. I think Armagh will find their way out of it with a degree of comfort. I don't see them as really being relegation threatened, even though they're sitting third from bottom and 3 points, because like 3 of their 4 games have been away from home. Fixture list hasn't been too kind to them. Now they've Donegal and Galway both coming to the athletic grounds, and then Tyrone and Healy Park on the last day. So do I see Donegal winning on Armagh on Saturday night? I don't. And it leaves it then, obviously you have Mayo at home and Roscommon away. In your last 2, you're going to need at least 2 points out of that. The bubble burst a wee bit on Roscommon yesterday. The bubble has shown no signs of bursting on Mayo. So for Donegal, I think they need. I think realistically they probably need something out of Saturday night, and I don't know that they'll get it.
Listen, no, that's that's a fair enough point. Going back just to our play yesterday and where our issues seem to be, you've got to say Pat, another brilliant game. Kern, McCall, McColgan, who looked like, they looked very explosive against Monaghan, but that can happen, John. I guess we're maybe looking too deep in the different games where there's all these problems. The 4 lads, particularly 3 in the full back, then really stuck to their men and stuck to their task yesterday. I know Galway obviously missing a couple of their better players, but can you see signs there, John? I mean, when we went, we went 8, was it 8 up in the first half? And we got
5 up.
5 up, 8-3, sorry, yeah. When that goal went in, John, if we had it stabilised then, that ball went down the pitch. Remember Hughie maybe could have grabbed it, kind of stuck at his feet. I think the Donegal man got the hand out and nearly flicked it on to Tierney. Now, it was a great finish, Patton could do nothing about it. If we had been able to sit in that lead a small bit, John, you've seen such a different team in Donegal from the week previous, so there's still signs there, and I think Cear's right. Listen, Armagh, I think they were over tactic. They got their tactics too much against Kerry, particularly when they were 2 up, John. They started to play keep ball. If they had went for Kerry, then they were there to be beaten as well. So I don't think anybody's that far ahead of anybody else, but certainly that's a very settled, physical Armagh team, and it's something, I suppose. Then again, John, listen, as our team grows, there's going to be mistakes and issues, but that's the kind of game that's going to bring us on. Let's say we could go up and compete with Armagh. Now, I know that sounds like maybe something a few years ago you would never have said, but at the minute, this team, if they're going up to an Armagh side, as Ciara was saying, they're a good, solid team. If we can come up and compete with them and take something from the game, there's still a chance in the last 2 games.
I think so, Brendan. I think, looking at it, Brendan, I think it's going to come down to the Roscommon game. Will 5 points keep us up? And that's taking that we go to Roscommon needing a win on the last day. And I don't care how good Roscommon are going, they're not world beaters. They're at our standard. We should be very confident of going to Roscommon and beating them in the last day if we need to. Now, whether 5 points keeps us up, we don't know. It's going to be hard in the athletic grounds, Brendan. It's going to be hard and to beat Mayo when they're flying. But listen, we're hard to beat in Balbafay. So there's a few, when you write, like someone asked me yesterday morning, and I said, when Donegal's backs are to the wall, they can always come up with a performance that you don't expect. And I was hoping that's what we got yesterday, and that's what we did get, because I wasn't expecting them to win. But I said, there's always a chance that they'll rise to the occasion. That's what they did. Yeah, I thought Oisin Gallenbrand was a big plus for us yesterday. I know he came on, he started the Monaghan game too, and I suppose he needs a bit more game time, but he's a real threat, and he's a bit of drive about him, and he goes at the defence and kicked a nice point with the left, one with the right, and can try and win a few frees. I think Jimmy Brennan's coming into a bit of form, but just up front, Brendan, I think we struggled to break down the blanket defence. It's a lot of the going out to the wing and the man coming off the shoulder and trying to break through, but we don't have a lot of power coming through the middle. We just don't seem to have that power the way your big man from McDaid there from Galway was driving through the middle a couple of times and got fouled. We seem to be lacking that there. But in saying that, Ben, as Cahir says, when we were 2 points down, we hadn't scored in the second half. I think there might have been 65 minutes on the clock, when we hadn't scored in the second half, and we were looking, I couldn't see where we were going to get a score. So the boys dug in. Credit to Jason McGee. He took on that last shot and put it over the bar, and
of course Gallons before that, when we looked, they were out. We looked, we were going to be beat at that time. And of course Conroy's kick at the end. So listen, when you take it all in context, I think, John, the point, you've been happy enough in the end, even though missed chances aside,
Missed chances aside, absolutely. Like when you look back, Brendan, and you look at there's a few people on Twitter today with the stats of the game and this predicted score on the amount of possession Donegal had. I think someone said it should have been 15-9 to Donegal. That should have been the score. We had a lot more possession than Galway, but at the same time, Brendan, a lot of our possession, we can hold on to the ball a long time, but we're going over and back outside the 45, not making a lot of progress, not looking very dangerous. Then we punch a hole, and unfortunately yesterday just the shot selection maybe a few times was off, and we hit the post twice in the second half, which was unfortunate. So plenty to work on. So Paddy Carroll overall, Ben, will take the point and see where it leads us at the end of the season. Yeah, certainly. Listen, Carroll, I'm really interested to hear your views on the Derry revolution that's coming. Now we're looking across here with a bit of fear. This Rory Geller side and squad he's putting together. I'm going to get your views now just after this short break, Carroll. Right?
No bother.
Hello, thanks for waiting. Could you hold the line?
Yeah, no problem.
Now, how can I help you?
Hi, I'm looking to make some updates to my insurance policy.
Have you tried our online portal?
I thought it would be easier to call.
Yeah. No. You're going to have to log on to amend your policy. Thanks for calling.
No, wait. I don't know my password.
Get the feeling that your insurer doesn't want to talk to you? At Local Insurance, we understand your needs. Call today for a bespoke quote or find us online at localinsurance.ie. Local Insurance, we'll get you sorted. The Local Insurance Network, DAC Trading's Local Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Local Insurance is a tied insurance intermediary of Acorn Brokerage Limited. Acorn Brokerage Limited, trading as Acorn Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Sheridan Security, now introducing zero-wire smart alarm systems. Zero wire, zero mess, and a real peace of mind. With a simple press of a button, your alarm can be set or unset, or download the free app and control it from your phone. Call us today on 074 912 6025 and get your alarm from €299. Stay local, stay safe, and protect what you value most with Sheridan Security Systems.
There's bingo every Monday night at the Halfway House Bingo Burnfoot. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30. €2,500 must go. The snowball is now €1,950 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. That's Halfway House Bingo tonight at 8:30. The DL debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny. Serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Yes, welcome back. I'm joined in the studio by John Hine and Cahir O'Keefe on the line. Cahir, as I said just before the break there, this Derry machine, I was up at Owenbeg a couple of weeks ago when they just annihilated Meath, and they've done the same to Kildare. How do we read into this? Is this team, are they ready to have a tilt at the Sam properly? What are you reading into it versus the opposition that they've been playing in Division 2, and of course with Dublin coming up next, maybe that'll be more of a barometer.
Well, that's always the caveat, the fact that they're in Division 2 and they're playing teams who would be seen at this stage as a level beneath them largely, given that they're reigning Ulster champions. The league, obviously Derry ended up in Division 4 at a stage and are still fighting their way out of that particular hole. But I think one win from the last three probably more than likely puts them up now. So even should they lose to Dublin on Saturday, I think Derry will still go up comfortably enough. But Dublin's probably a game that I think they will relish. I know tickets are already scarce, which is not the norm for games in Derry. But I think Derry probably need that game as well, because they could be lulling themselves into a false sense of maybe where they're at, and Dublin aren't firing, and maybe it won't tell Derry exactly where they're at either, but it'll give them a better indication than any other game that they'll play in Division 2, because obviously Kildare have fallen off the face of the earth. They have to go to Cork on the last day, but whether there's anything riding on it by that stage, they mightn't get the game that they would like out of that. So this is the game that'll tell us where Derry are at in the grand scheme. And I think they're right in there. There's still the concern of whether you're just able to change it up. I think the problem in the All-Ireland semi-final last year was that, when they found themselves 5 or 6 points behind, they didn't really have an alternative. There's nothing really to turf a ball in at. We don't have a Damien Comer. And it is, they're so well coached, so well, they play such a, I know people might love looking at it, but from a coaching point of view, it's an outstanding style of football. But it, if you're struggling in a game and if you're behind in a game, that's when the test will come for Derry down the line.
And tell me, just on last year, so much made about McGuigan up front. Do you see that, every team needs at least a double pronged attack with, you would hope for maybe 3 or more if you can get it. But Ethan Doherty, is he the real deal, Ceathair, in terms of being that second scoring forward that's going to, help Derry along with McGuigan?
Well, I think Ethan, to be fair, Ethan probably not so much in that role, but he's certainly a scorer of goals. The way that he runs angles, and he's so direct. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking for the black spot. He will hurt teams. He definitely will score goals. He's not going to be a fella that's going to kick 6 points in a game ever. But he's such a big goal threat. But I suppose Niall Loughlin has been in there and chips away with a few scores, but probably the man that's been badly overlooked. And Benny Hearn, I just watched the Kildare game last night when I come home from Clonus, and Benny Hearn could easily have had a hat-trick in the first half. Hit the post, keeper made a great save, fired one just over the bar. Like, he literally could have had a hat-trick. And Benny, I think teams maybe still take Benny lightly, and he's such a goal threat in there. He got big goals in big games last year as well, and he's carried that on again. A different type of forward, and as I say, Derry don't have a Comer that they can turf it at into the sky and hope for a Rian O'Neill or that type of a player. But there's enough of a goal threat about them that, the idea of Derry being a defensive team or not a big scoring team is complete nonsense at this stage. The style in which they play, the way in which they build scores is maybe different, but they're a big scoring team.
And tell me, Gary, they get the bounce out of that minor winning All-Ireland team, like so young Murray, Loughlin. Obviously, McAvoy there's slotted in at full back, allowing them to have Rodgers always out the pitch. I see he chipped in with a point the last time. Just on the defence, just a quick look at the table, the way they've only conceded 35, they're way ahead of anybody in the 4 divisions defensively. So there's something building there, Ceathair, isn't there? I mean, obviously, listen, they had a brilliant season, All-Ireland champions, we know that. We just thought in that semi, maybe they were a bit limited, but they seem like they are building a serious squad there to maybe have the answers in a game like that.
Yeah, look, they have the best defence in Ireland across the 4 divisions at the minute. They had the best defence in Ireland last year across the 4 divisions. It's no surprise that is the foundation on which they're building things. But I suppose the promising thing out of the All-Ireland minor team, Rory kind of took what he wanted early. Owen McAvoy has been thrown in, done brilliantly at fullback this year, and that's allowed Brendan Rodgers to go and play at midfield. They've nothing else off that team in terms of the starting 15 at the minute yet. Matthew Downey will come through, Mark Doherty, Niall O'Donnell, Lachlan Murray are on the panel, but there's nobody else starting. So that team is yet to come through. And obviously, Derry have been a big feature at minor level for about 6-7 years. Now where they've had Ulster titles and Ulster finals, and it's not just one. It is just one All-Ireland winning team, but there's loads of strong minor teams that have come through. So you talk about a conveyor belt. Derry should, by rights, only get stronger over the next 5 or 6 years, and that Chrissy McCaig Chrissy McKaig's the only 30 plus. Oh, sorry, Benny Heron as well. Chrissy and Benny are the only 30 plus in the team. So
I think Chrissy's going to go on forever, I would imagine.
Chrissy will play till he's 70, I think.
Yeah.
Chrissy has a while to go yet. So look, there's a good few years of road left in the team, but you don't know the factors: who gets injured, who goes there, who travels, where Rory Gallagher stays, all that. You don't know what the future holds, but at the minute it looks bright. I'm
just wondering, Cahir, about the people in Derry who voted against them now. I would say they're keeping their head down.
Like it's a funny thing. Like obviously it rears its head the odd time.
Yeah.
The protest and the fight was never, to be fair, it was never against Rory Gallagher, and there would have been wee bits and pieces you would have heard people saying, we're going to play this style defensive football and that, but the issue was the process by which the county board went about appointing him. It wasn't the man himself. It wasn't that it was Rory Gallagher. It was the way that it was done was the issue. And I suppose Rory then, by virtue of being the man, sort of got dragged into that.
Right.
But
do you know what?
The vote went in his favour.
Well, I forgot about that side of it, Cara. I thought it was more just about him himself. That's interesting. Good man. John, Rory Gallagher's basically taking the Jim McGuinness playbook. He's got a hungry young team. We've heard about the training. Now, I would say, along with the drilled nature, the better players than the likes of Meath and Kildare, they're physically on another level. They are so close to professionalism in what they're doing. You know, is that just something you can take for a team for 4 or 5 years and just go at that? Can that last long term, do you think? Or is that disrespectful to say to Rory? Because obviously he had a big hand in Donegal at that time, but it's certainly pretty much the same idea.
It seems to be the same playbook, Brendan, doesn't it? That comparison's going to be made about Donegal on 11 with McGuinness coming, winning the first Ulster title and getting close to Dublin, and then coming back in 12 and having developed their game a bit more and blowing everyone out of the water, and that hard running and super fit. And that seems to be what Rory Gallagher's doing with Derry. Like, he's got them super fit, he's got a young hungry team, and when you get a bit of success, Brendan, it's easy to keep it going. And as Cahir said, the age profile of the team is very good. Certainly, Brendan, you can only do that for so long. We've seen the drawbacks of that in Donegal, where a team comes to a natural conclusion. They're burned out, they're done out. But you have to temper that, Brendan, with Donegal and Derry. Derry won All Ireland, Donegal have too. So you can't give out about Jim McGuinness burning lads out. He won us in All Ireland. We nearly won the second one with him. You know what I mean? Like, in our 130 years or whatever's going on. So same with Derry. Like, if Rory Gallagher can get one All Ireland, I'd say they'll take it for the next 50 years, maybe, because you don't know when the next one's coming, if you'll ever get one. So it probably can't be sustained, Brendan, and for amateur players to train mad like that there. But they certainly will do it for 3-4 years, and if they're getting a bit of success, it's easy to keep it going, because the boys are hungry and the boys that come behind are hungry. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they're going. Like, there's a lot of people, Brendan, on Twitter and saying that they're the best coached team in the country, so it's going to be interesting to see how can they kick on a wee bit further this year, because there's no doubt, Ben, they were disappointing against Galway, and that, when it was put up to them and that All-Ireland semi-final, they just couldn't, as Cahir said, they were kind of a one-trick pony, and once that didn't work, they didn't seem to have a plan B up their sleeve. But I'm sure this year, no more than McGuinness in 2011, Donegal developed, and I'm sure Rory is working away quietly there with Derry, and they're going to have something up their sleeve for the summer.
Certainly. So hang on, Cahir, there just after this break. I want to throw a question to you just about our friends in Tyrone and the woes that they're facing. Back after these breaks.
Sheridan Security now introducing zero-wire smart alarm systems. Zero wire, zero mess, and a real peace of mind. With a simple press of a button, your alarm can be set or unset, or download the free app and control it from your phone. Call us today on 074 912 6025 and get your alarm from €299. Stay local, stay safe, and protect what you value most with Sheridan Security Systems.
If something's free, why would you turn it down? I mean, a free haircut from a 5-year-old. Oh, no. Or a free sample of onion paste. Oh. Well then, how about a free tour of your neighbour's new shed? Oh, that sounds, well... OK, look, they were bad examples. But how about a free eye test and free glasses from the €69 range at Specsavers with your PRSI? Well, that sounds like something to smile about.
Book an appointment or find out more at specsavers.ie.
Your next move matters, so why not move better? Start your move to permanent TSB today. Apply in-app for our award-winning current account. So don't just move bank, move better. Apply in-app today. Applications for Explore Current Account in-app for over 18 personal customers. Qualifying criteria, fees and charges, terms and conditions apply. Awarded bonkers.ie Best Current Account 2022. Permanent TSB PLC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Welcome back. As I say, I'm joined by John Harn in the studio, Cara O'Keefe on the line. Cara, I was just saying to you before the break there, this cloud that's hanging over Tyrone shows no sign of going away. You know, another poor performance. Now, admittedly, this and Mayo were flying, buried them with goals. Fergal Logan coming out and saying this, we need to find a way to win and find it quick, and they do certainly. Cara, in many ways, the recent success, that All-Ireland victory, is now, I suppose, working against them in this current season in terms of people going, well, where is that All-Ireland winning team? Where is it going wrong? What's your take on it?
Yeah, funny. Look, I had a good study of them last week, sort of trying to look at certainly what's wrong on the pitch at the minute. And there's just, well, when I looked at them last week, what I saw was a lack of urgency about them and a lack of pace about the way that they were attacking teams, and just very ponderous, and they weren't hurting anybody. And watching the game on Saturday evening, the first 17 minutes were the best 17 minutes that Tyrone have played this year. They only got 3 points out of it, which was the downside. They should have had more, but they played some real fast, nice stuff. The problem was that as soon as Mayo got the first goal, you could see how false all of that confidence was. And that tells you that there's a massive drain in their confidence at the minute. Like, as soon as the first goal went in, all of the energy and all of the pace that they brought to the first 17 minutes just went completely out of the game, and they ended up getting beat by 10 points, and it could have been more. And I mean, it's really worrying for them, because, at this stage they've had, where do they fix it? Because they've had so long now to fix it. It's been going on since they came home off the team holiday last year, where you keep waiting for Tyrone to reappear. And it went on, dragged on through the league, and you thought, well, it'll come in Championship. It didn't come in Championship. You thought, well, sure, they'll get the winter, they'll fix it for the start of next year. They haven't fixed it. They now face Kerry at home. They have Monaghan in Clonus, where Monaghan very, very seldom lose. And then they have Armagh on the last day. I find it hard to see Tyrone staying up. The way that things are going, I don't see them beating Kerry on the weekend. But that is the thing with Tyrone. It's there. The Roscommon League game at the start of this year was the first time since the All-Ireland final that they had fewer than 14 of the players that they used in the All-Ireland final on the field. So, there's a load of subs have left, and that has definitely affected their training quality and their A and B games and all that stuff. But there's still enough there for a core of a Tyrone team to be doing so much better than they're doing. And it just, there's obviously a massive, when you watch them Saturday evening, there's a massive crisis of confidence there.
And Cara, you'd think in last year, with the way the season ended, I don't remember, now I know there's been different ways that the Championship has happened last season, but I don't remember the All-Ireland champions being beaten, and having a second chance being beaten again. Maybe you know more than me. You do obviously know a lot more than me. That's your game. But I can't remember now. If you said that after a poorish league, surely that was enough to give them the kickstart. It's as if they've the same hangover in this season. It's so hard to put your finger on it. That day we played them, we were very out of sorts, and they kind of bossed us, and they were just better at what they did. And it was a very kind of routine performance. I felt under Hart, for years, they seemed to be playing under a bit of a cloud. There wasn't a proper expression and all that. And then, as I say, when the two lads took over, there seemed to be that bounce from them. And say you forgive them for last year, but I just can't see what is the issue this year. Surely there must be that same core in there to, as you saying, whatever about subs leaving in A and B games, the core of an All-Ireland winning team is on that pitch, and you're just wondering, surely that experience stands to them, that they can produce performances. We're just not seeing them.
It should. Obviously, one of the big issues they've had. Like, for me, one of the big things that Fergal Logan and Brian Dooher did when they came in was moving Peter Hart into the half back line. I thought he was outstanding when they won the All Ireland. He was maybe their best player over the course of the All Ireland winning season, and he played in a role, and it was built around a very strong defensive unit. But at the minute, they're absolutely wide to the world defensively. They're getting ripped apart down the middle. They're not really playing to any system, and so it's hard for the individuals to shine. Like, I was really impressed with Cal McShane in January in the McKenna Cup. I saw him in the flesh against Derry, and I know it's McKenna Cup, but I thought there's a fella who's had a lot of injury troubles, looked really, really sharp. I think he kicked 5 points from play in Owen Beg the night Derry played them. And he played the first half of the Roscommon game at full forward against the wind. Tyrone never kicked him a ball. He touched the ball 4 times in the first half and got took off at half time. Come out against Donegal, played on the 45, playing 5-yard hand passes square, not hurting Donegal. Again, his first 17 minutes on Saturday evening were angry. Ran over the top of a couple of Mayo defenders, but then his finishing let him down on a couple of occasions and his performance fell away, and kind of symptomatic of the whole of Tyrone's performance. So they're not getting the best out of the players that they have, for sure, whether that's the players themselves, whether it's the positioning, but also, you can't be conceding the kind of goals Tyrone are conceding at the minute. Like, Mayo literally ran right through the middle of them. I know Enda Hessian's was a lovely finish, but how easy was it to walk in there? Far, far too easy, and they have that to fix before they fix anything else.
Yeah, a lot of things to fix. Listen, work in progress. You should, Cahir, listen, thanks very much for joining us this evening. As ever, I'll catch up with you as the season goes on and the serious ball starts to be played.
No bother. Thanks, lads.
Appreciate it. That's Cahir O'Kane there, Irish News columnist. Great to talk to him this evening. I say at the top of the show there, I spoke with Donegal captain Patrick McBrearty after the game yesterday. I'll get him clicked on here now. Joe's going to give me a hand. Good man, Joe. Good old Patrick. He gives us a wee update on his current injury and where Donegal are at after the game.
I thought we were the better team overall. 10 minutes to go there, it didn't look good. If you were to give me the draw then, I would have taken it. If you give me the draw with Paul Corner standing over the free at the end, I would have taken it. But I think if you look back in the game, I think we were probably 5-6 point better team. Second half, just those wides and the balls dropped short really killed us. But there's another point in the board, and it makes next Saturday night against Armagh even bigger. Yeah,
but a lot of wides in the game, and you're right, you can point to so many reasons why we could have won the game, but then at the end we were clinging on a small bit. Just after last week, the second half, a bit of doom and gloom about it. It's a fairly kind of inexperienced defence, but we grew into it again today, much like we did at Ballybofey. And really the home venue, as we've seen last week, all the home teams won, and the home venue counted so much today in terms of the crowd getting behind you and that wee bit of energy coming back into the team.
Momentum today was massive. I suppose we didn't get that in Clonus last week. I felt it started with the full back line there. Brendan, Mark Corn and Keelan did their jobs. Any ball that went in, it came out, and it's supposed to give us a platform. And we'll go into Armagh next week with a bit more pep in our step, because it's going to be a massive challenge. We've seen there last night on the TV, Armagh, very physical side, and one of the favourites for Ulster, rightly so.
Yeah, but listen, I was delighted to see you getting the captaincy, and of course most experienced man in there, and a definite leader in the dressing room. Then made the horror news about the hamstring. What's the update on where you're at?
Update really, it's happened second half of the Tyrone game. Went for a scan. It was off the bone, so had to go to London for a consultation 2 weeks ago, and booked in for surgery there. So had surgery last Tuesday. So at the minute, leg brace for 6 weeks, and it's going to be a good bit into the championship before I'll be kicking the ball. I would say,
Yeah, is it realistic, Patrick, to think you could come back and play in the championship? I mean, we're all hoping you do, but is it realistic between the layoff and getting back to kind of that type of sharpness? Can you aim for something? Is that something that's possible?
It's probably going to be the round robin games. Listen, that's been realistic. I was given a 4 to 5 month timeline, so I'll be pushing for the 4, obviously. But listen, it's one man down, next man up. Really, listen, it doesn't matter really who it is. There's good young lads in there, and they're really, really hard workers. Listen, it's disappointing, no doubt about it. And all I can do is try and stay in the best shape I can, get back as quick as I can. And, you know, if we are still in the competition, to still be thereabouts. I still expect us to do well in the Ulster Championship. That's what we aim for in that group. There's no reason why we still can't go on to win Ulster, you know. So it's just about me doing the best I can in terms of myself, and then trying to lead the boys on from a different kind of angle. You
still have that role to play.
Yeah,
listen,
I was lucky enough for the lads to give me the role they did, and I still feel I have something to give that way. But listen, still be training every night, beat every game, and hope I can give them something that way.
So if we could win one of the next 2 games, there's still a chance we could stay in the league.
Yeah, listen, I suppose ourselves and I think they're on 3 as well. That makes it a massive game. Am I right with that? 3 on 3. So it's a massive game, and then we've Mayo then at home, so that's another game in McCool Park. So listen, it's all to fight for. Listen, we're right there, so we're probably not going to be up near the top of it, but in terms of maintaining our Division 1 status, I think we're very, very much in the race.
Yes, good man, Patrick. We wish him a speedy recovery. John, we'll play this wee clip now. John Hearn's been meditating here. He's been waiting patiently. We're going to hear from the famous Jimmy the Doc after he had the stand named after him in Donegal Park yesterday. Here's what he had to say.
Well, I am exceptionally, if that's the right word, it wouldn't explain how honoured I would be to have my name associated with the St Eunan's Club after all this time. Came here in '77, but never ever expected anything such as this. But it's a tremendous honour. As I said on the short speech I had over there, I was just wondering, is this actually happening? So I said, here I am, but I am standing here. I'm looking at that wall over there, and my name is on that on that wall, on that plaque on that wall over there. So it must be true. And with that, as I said, I'm deeply honoured to the St Eunan's Club and to, in general, the people of Donegal for honouring me such. And there's one thing I would say about Donegal people, even in my time in medicine and even in my time in the Dáil and whatnot, I've always found that if you do something for Donegal people, then you'll never be forgotten. And however that may be, you're invited to A, B, or C or whatnot. But this here is puts a cap on everything. Your name is on the wall there, and it's visible from actually 2 or 3 of the walls down there. The opening date is written there. So I mean, they've done everything here in St Eunan's, and really I owe the St Eunan's Club an awful lot, because, as I said, the Donegal people in general, but your own club in particular, it's nice to be honoured by.
Yeah, well, Jimmy, we might say we owe you an awful lot between a life in the medical profession, helping everybody in the Letterkenny area, your life in the GAA, and of course you got into politics, became a TD, went all the way to Canada to minister, and when you were a minister, Jimmy, you helped so many sporting organisations in the county. I suppose that's the goodwill that come back to you, no more so than our club here, St Eunan's. You had a massive part to play in St Eunan's over the year, but certainly, Jimmy, being in a position to help so many over your time must give you a great feeling, and to be honoured here today, I mean, the honour's all ours, to be honest, Jimmy.
Well, I go back to what I said and what you've actually said as well. Whenever you actually do something for Donegal people, you're always inclined to get it. You're always inclined to get it back, and that is a fact. But at the time that I was in politics, which is the most of the time when you had a few bob to spend, I was conscious of the fact that health in general is how fit you are and how you keep yourself, and it's okay from people coming in and saying, I'm not feeling too well, whatnot, but you also have to look after yourself, and fitness is one of the best things that you can do it. And you can take a look here. We have the facility here, but that building over there, which was built by the county council, that building there actually came to something over 22 million at the time. It's now one of the finest buildings you'll find anywhere. It is the largest from regards to the pools and all those type of facilities that you have there, is one of the best. And this little part of the town here turned out to be an exceptionally very, very good place to actually be putting your investments, because you've got everything on site here, and we have another pitch coming up down the road there now.
I suppose, as you mentioned at the start, that all the changes you've seen at the club here, all the characters that you've met and played with and had great times with, the changes you've seen over the years here at the club and around the club area.
Well, probably no club. I'm not so sure any club in Donegal has seen more changes than St. Eunan's have, and they are all for the better. But there's always been the population has always been here, so you could say a lot easier for to do it in Letterkenny than perhaps in a lot of other clubs. But there was tough times here. I mean, I remember when I came here, first of all, the clubhouse here, there was absolutely nothing here. I think there was a tennis court there. It was where the clubhouse was now, and the dressing. That's all we had was a dressing room which had upstairs and downstairs and cold water shower.
And a poor scent coming from it all. That's one of my abiding memories.
Yes, exactly, a poor sentence coming from it all. And I remember one time coming in here when I was vice chairman, I think it was, and we proposed that we would actually build a clubhouse. And it took quite a lot of persuasion at the time, but I do remember a great character there, Bobby Murray, at the time. And Bobby was one of the elder statesmen of the club, and I said, what are we going to... Bobby, I put up, excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I was the chairman at the time, yes. He said, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, he said to me, and I can still hear him, what are we going to do with this changing rooms? And I said to him, Bobby, I said, we're going to let the crows fly through it. And Bobby said to me, no, that determined man's going to come in here and change. That's all right. I can still hear his words. They always come back to me whenever I see the ground here now, that you had the characters like that who felt that they were the ones that were running the thing there. Not that there was any antipathy, but I remember it took a while to get it, but Bobby was one of those great characters that were there. Of course, you had other ones like you had Patrick McBrearty and you had Harns and you had Dodo and all them there, yes. And Mickey Sweeney, God have mercy on him, whose funeral, John Hannigan and all those people. Terrific. Terrific teams down through the years, yeah. And,
it's interesting, Jimmy, that we talk about sport and what it is and all the playing that's on the pitch, but your memories of it is very much everything outside of that. The characters you met, the people, the times that you had. The sport, of course, is what we all train for and play for, but really GA clubs and what was created here and what you were such a part of, it's so much bigger than anything that happens on the pitch.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's so many differences here now. They've got so many different teams here now, and of course, as I said again beforehand, the population there's a huge population from which to draw them from. But the characters, yeah, the characters when there like Joe Winston and Frankie Campbell and PG Hoy, people like that. They would be the characters that I grew up with. We played a bit of football as well.
Does Leslie McGettigan get a wee
Leslie McGettigan as well? Yeah, of course.
I better put Leslie.
Oh no, Leslie McGettigan was, of course, was there, and I wish him well. Yeah, another one. Yeah, I wish him well, and I hope he's doing well. And he congratulated me there by phone or text or whatever it is, when this was announced, and so there's still we don't keep in touch much now, but certainly would always get an odd call from him and vice versa, still those.
Yeah, well, listen, as a Eunan's man, Jimmy, I just want to.
Well, it's good to have yourself here as well. You were an exceptional addition to the team. Well, I mean, I'm not blowing you up. But
she might cut that bit out. Goes to edit. But
you were an exceptional addition to the team. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, you were absolutely fearless. You actually nearly reminded me that Mickey Sweeney was what we called. Mickey was a fellow who got the ball in his hands or his chest, and Mickey just turned and headed for goal.
That's it.
That's
head down
and just to call him head the ball. Yeah.
I've been called that a few times, Jimmy. Right?
Would be all right. Yeah, but I know. But I mean, the addition of people like yourself and whatnot. I mean, it was a really good team. You had people like exceptional players like yourself, county players. You were county players, and they were developed. And the facilities are one thing, but you have to have the players as well.
That's it. Jimmy, listen again. Congratulations on the stand in honour of you. Much appreciated. You have a good evening. We're all going back into the clubhouse now. There's a bit of a Keeley band going on there. We'll shoot the breeze. Yeah. There'll be a few more stories. I might leave this mic on, Jimmy.
You can do that. Thanks very much, Brendan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I didn't leave the mic on, but I was shouting away, John. You can hear it. My voice was a big night. You were along with me for most of it. John, I want to get your words on Jimmy just after this break. All right, hang about a minute. Thank you.
Stop Highland Radio are going to Scotland from Monday the 1st of May to Thursday the 4th of May with the very best of music, and we would love for you to join us. Staying at the 4-star Crown Plaza Hotel in Glasgow, we are bringing with us some of the biggest country stars, including myself, David James, Declan Ernie and Robert Mazzell, to name a few. You will enjoy luxury travel to Glasgow, 3 nights dinner, bed and breakfast with music and entertainment each evening. Join us on the Highland Fling to Glasgow this May for only €575 per person. To book, call Highland Radio today on 074 91 25,000. Early booking is advisable. Single supplement applies.
With 231 well underway, are you calling in for a look? Sure, call in for a cup of tea or a coffee and let our sales executives show you the options available in our new Kia range. With an unbeatable range of vehicles, there's only one garage to visit for your next purchase, and that's iMotors. Visit us in Letterkenny or Malin, or visit imotors.ie.
When you need help with natural gas or LPG appliances or pipes, don't take any chances. Stay safe and always use a registered gas installer for installation, servicing, repair or removal. Otherwise, you're putting yourself and others at risk and breaking the law. Find a registered gas installer at rgi.ie.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Yes, Jimmy the Doc, what a man. John, brilliant yesterday for the club to be able to honour him.
It was, Brendan, a great day, and as we said earlier at the start of the programme, the weather made it, and a good occasion, and a big crowd, and Donegal got the point, so everyone went home happy, and as you say, we had a big night in the clubhouse and Sister Sarah, so great day for the club, Brendan, and no more than what the man deserved, and I think on behalf of the club, I think in some ways we're trendsetters, Brendan, because it was a brave move to go ahead and name the stand after someone that's still alive. It seems not the thing to do. Unfortunately, too often people wait until the man that they want to honour, or the woman or whatever, is dead and gone, and they can't bask in the glory of it. Like if you just look across the road, Brendan, like the athletic track is called after Danny McDaid, and Danny's still fit and healthy and going strong, and why not? He was a double Olympian for Ireland, and the man's put his life and soul into Letterkenny athletics, and the track's named after him, and so and why not? So why not the Dr. James McDaid stand when he's still there? Because he did. There's no doubt, Brendan. Like I've said this over the last week in different places, on newspapers or whatever, that the stand wouldn't be there without him. It's as simple as that. The club didn't have that kind of money to go and build a facility like that. We had money, surely, to build the 2 new pitches and upgrade things, and we would have built small dressing rooms or whatever, but only for the doctor at that time as Minister for Sport, and to give us the backing and tell us to go ahead and plan for it and put in the planning application and X, Y and Z, and he would back us. He would make sure that the money was there for us. So it was brilliant, and there's no doubt about it. And that, Brendan, that allowed inter-county football to come back to O'Donnell Park. I think the last game was in 1972, and then I suppose more games started to go to McCool Park. It started to become the main county ground, and then once the stand was built and we got the place up and running again and going well, we came back, I think, in 2007, that great day that you had the great game against Kerry. I think that was the first game back in O'Donnell Park since 1972. So for the town and the businesses and the club and everything, Brendan, it's a great lift, as I said, to have that one big day every year where you get to host the county team in a National League game. But I think, Ben, as the weekend has gone on, and hearing, talking to a few people today, and there's definitely a sense that St. Julian's was honouring Dr. McDaid, kind of even on behalf of the people of Letterkenny and people of Donegal, and it wasn't just ourselves that were doing it. A lot of people thought it was very fitting, and I think we've always been trendsetters, Brendan, the club. I think we're progressive in that point of view, that we don't sit back and follow the herds. We're big enough to make our own decisions, and sometimes bold decisions, and we're not afraid to press on. And that's what I like about the club. There's good people there, and they're always looking to drive it on, and they're not afraid to make the hard decisions. And I think naming the stand was a bold one, because we don't think anyone else has done it around the country. So it might set a trend, Brendan, where other clubs or whoever think that there's people in their community or whatever that deserve it, and please God that will be
It was a brilliant idea, John, and I've seen so many things over the time, but see, as Jimmy walked down, I was standing with Charlie Harvey. It was so great to see him out there, and just talking to him and seeing him there, and everything. There's so many club stalwarts around there, but as Jimmy walked down, his family were all there. There was a bit of emotion from him, but the warmth from the crowd there, John, if we videoed on the phone there, you know, there was such a nice feeling. You know, you're on about, I was saying last week about a bit of doom and gloom and that. Suddenly from that point of view, you were back to saying, yes, and results on the pitch and all that, of course, that's what we're always aiming for, but this is over and above. And in many ways, Jimmy done many things for many sporting organisations, but it was felt more like a Donegal thing, nearly.
Yes,
that we were thanking him.
Yeah, exactly, and it wasn't just a St. Eunice thing, but a wider Letterkenny thing and the town. Because even read there, Brendan, in the paper last week, where I think Donald Coyle, the councillors, you know, nominated that the new road out by the Clanree there, or you know, be named after Tommy Murphy, a local resident who's still there, long time businessman Tommy, and rightly so. And you know, why not? Because as I said, we wait too often till the people are gone, and then it's maybe only their family that can get the recognition. So it was lovely to do it for the doc, and you know, it went down well, and we've got great feedback from it. So, you know, on to the next, as he said, on to the next project now. We're getting diggers ready to go, and for the new pitch down at the back of the training pitch. So we're getting a new pitch there.
And how does that happen, John? Purely from is it fundraising and part? Do you apply for grants, or how does that?
We got the sports capital grant last year, Ben, for 150,000. So that'll go a good bit towards it. And we had the cards all there before Christmas, was it? I'm getting mixed up now. Yeah, before Christmas, Ollie Harvey was pushing that as always, Ollie. So there's a bit of money in the bank, Ben, but it'll soon be spent once the diggers come in, and you know, no doubt there'll be something then again for us to raise money for. But we'll keep going and listen. But every GA club's the same. Like Tyrone are down there now with voluntary labour. You see them there on Facebook. They're building a big, massive new clubhouse, and you know, fair play to them. And it's everyone's striving on and building new pitches. And Convoy have a big draw there going too. So everyone's, you know, we're all the same. You know, we're all trying to just better the thing, and everyone's in the same boat, and just work hard and keep it going. And no, so I always say about it, is keep GA alive in Letterkenny. That's our main objective, is to drive on Gaelic games, because there's a lot of competition out there. Provide the facilities for the youngsters and let them enjoy it.
Yeah, we Ollie Harvey about, you'll never be too far wrong either, John. If there's a man to keep things going, it's Ollie boy.
That's the man.
Aye. John, listen, thanks so much for coming up this evening. That was fantastic there, John Hearn, St. Eunan's chairman. That's wrapping up the show again tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank my guests, of course, John Carroll Kane, that joined us on Zoom. The interviews we had from Jimmy McDaid, of course, and County Captain Patrick McBrearty. Stay tuned, of course, for Jimmy and Paul, the Monday night sessions. I want to thank Joe Dex, of course, for producing the show. Head of Sport, Oisín Kelly. I'll speak to you all next week.
A public